Alright, this is a quick tutorial on how to chop breaks on FL Studio. Personally, I don't like chopping breaks using Slice X or, any of the MIDI stuff. It's just not me. So, what I do like to do is slice them via audio. So, first thing we need to do is find out the tempo, the BPM of our break. So that was 16 beats. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, finish this part out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now that we're able to count how many beats that is, set that as 4, and you should see that should detect the BPM of the entire loop. Click tempo sync, accept, and now you should see that the whole breakbeat is tempo synced. Of course, just make sure you have this box checked. If you want to round it, you could. So to be safe, let's round it 16, click accept, and now let's drag it right here to the playlist. Now here's how you chop it. Use this slice tool, and to pre-listen, use this speaker. Okay. So what I like to do is chop every instance right here. There's snares, then hats, snares, kicks right here, double kicks right here, even right there. It's just a small pattern going on. Takes a little while, but once you start doing it, you'll get the hang of it. I forgot to mention that our project tempo is 160. So, as you heard, our ambient break is now time stretched to sound a little bit more, I guess, jungle-like, if you will. Although true jungle is until it's like 170. Just say 174. Keep it short and simple. So. So we can do with the pre-listen, you can just go around with your mouse and just try to just listen and try to brainstorm ideas of how you could sequence your first 8 beats. So usually what most jungle producers do is just use these parts and occasionally use snares like these. So for now, what I'm going to do, grab this, keep it grayed out. When it's grayed out, it means that it's not going to be audible. Okay, so let's do this. Get a kick. Get this one, line them up, and if you did correctly, oh well, that was cool. Okay, well, I didn't notice that, but yeah, just make sure that you have your kick along with the hat and snares and subsequent hats lined up. Now as for these that are a little bit out of place, what you could do, you could fix them automatically. So say these. If you like to be that intricate, go for it. I'm not, but for the tutorial's sake, let's keep it like that. Okay, so you have this, we have this other kick right here. Line that up. You get a crash right here. And sometimes you see that it doesn't finish, it doesn't fill the gap. So what I like to do, I believe it's in view. No, it's not here. But there's a setting in here where you can make sure that you're able to grab it from the left hand side. That way, you see, you can resize it, do what you want. Now, I resized it a little bit too much, so just fix that. That's fine. So let's listen real quick. Okay, so that's cool. So one thing that I also like to do is, like what I did just now, I like to brainstorm. I like to make a rhythm up phonetically, which is, you know, just beatboxing it until you're able to, pretty much until you're able to recreate it yourself. Okay, just remove this part, and then we could just loop this. Hold up. Let's line that up real quick. Yeah, that's fine. So, sorry about that. So, if you did it correctly, you should probably get something like this. That sounds pretty good. Now, usually wouldn't want to keep it like that. You usually want to have a bit more variation. You want to have a little bit more punch. So what I did is assign it to a mixer track, and I lowered the volume. I lowered the volume because we're going to be adding some quick distortion, and we're going to be adding some compression. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to be using stock plugins. I would be using OTT or Camel Crusher, but just for this sake, let's keep it stock. So what I like to do is go on I'm sorry, what I like to do is go through the presets and choose just go around and see which sounds good. So that sounds pretty good so far, and those are just presets. We haven't even touched the distortion yet. So as for distortion, that's on the default setting. So that's how it sounds without effects. Sounds a little bit muddy. Let's try to clean that up. So we get our EQ. And forgive me for those more advanced users who are like, oh, you should be fiddling with this. I mean, yeah, I do EQ my stuff, but I usually use the sliders. So sorry about that. That I can't please everyone. You can't please everyone. Okay, that sounds pretty good. So yeah, so we have our fuzzy distortion, we have our quick release compression. That's a preset, by the way, in Fruity Multiplying Compressor, and just a few tweaks right here in the parametric EQ. So what you do next is copy, Oh, I'm sorry. Copy, paste. Grab these two while you're at it, because you're going to need them later. So, you get this part, you get this double kick right here, and replace the hat right here. So, yeah, you gotta sometimes just practice with lighting stuff up. So, yeah. So as you heard that doesn't sound too well. So let me see. Get this part right here and replace that cut section of the crash. Yeah, there we go. And this is just you know, for Havens. So let's try to look for something else. So I usually don't like using these already like pre-processed stuff because it kind of kills the creativity. Well, you know, Celsius from the Prospect recording said it best. Yeah, what am I doing? No, we don't need Damon. We need different break rates. So it's a little tricky finding what's going to suit your pattern. So just to be playing in the background if you want. As for some breakbeats, they're already going to be time stretched already. Some of them might already have slice marks on them. Usually that accounts for Rex files, RX2 files. I don't have any. Actually, I do have some on hand. Whoa. Okay, don't need that. But yeah, these in FL Studio, you'll be able to tell what's the difference between a Rex file and an audio file. Audio is orange, Rex is blue. And I don't know if you can see it up here. Let me pull it up here. Okay, so it didn't pull up there, but there we go. Rex files usually they're already pre-sliced. So you can see that. And they're also already BPM mapped as well. But personally, I like doing stuff from scratch because it builds a pretty good. It builds discipline, to say the least. Let me check how much we have for time. Shoot. 15 minutes. Well. That sounds pretty good. This one's a little. Of course, you could could always chop loops and stuff like that, but that's up to you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, at least you got the beats down. Type 4, that's roughly 170. Click tempo sync, accept, drag it right here. Then let's just put it under here. Copy, paste it. Just make sure these all line up, because some of them don't line up well. It's a little bit too loud, but let's see. Okay, that's pretty good. Get a parametric EQ out again. High pass filter that. Let's get another compressor. Okay, so as you can see right here is our process statement break. And I know it looks messy. Some other users, especially I think Ableton, they like having their slices all, you know, nice and neat, just on one track. Personally, I like laying these out. You know, could be up to 4, 5, 6 tracks of just slices and cuts. That way, you're able to see where the cuts are and how they're processed more easily. If you left something out, left something in. Okay, that's sounding all right. Okay, so that's sounding pretty good. Just barely punching on -3. That's okay. Now, one thing that jungle tracks usually have, I'm sorry, one thing that jungle tracks usually have is an 808 bass. It's that big boom, boom sound. So, oh, wrong folder, I'm sorry. There we go. There we go. That's a good 808. I used to use the prepackaged 808s that were in FL Studio, but this one's a lot cleaner. And pro tip, if you're using, well, pretty much everyone should know this. Make sure right-click on the sample on the channel box right here. Right-click and make sure you have it set to cut self. So when you're jamming out on the keyboard, you don't have any of that overlapping sound, because the only overlapping you want to do is right here within your breaks. See that? Because they're also going to cut each other off, like this part right here. So let me illustrate that real quick. If you have cut self, it's going to sound like that. But if you don't have it on, it's going to sound like this. You hear that shuffle right there? Oh, I forgot to snip this off. So it's all up to personal preference. Personally, I like having these shuffles on because it adds a little bit more groove to the ambient break. And it's pretty much true for jungle and all that. So going back to the 808s. Oops, sorry. So you could start jamming out on the keyboard and just making some pretty good bass lines. In jungle, it's usually dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'm going a little bit too fast, but you catch my drift. It's a little bit smaller. Place it. I'm sorry. Let's place it right here immediately. That way we can hear it while our aim is playing. Let's add a little bit of that overdrive. So that's just one bit of it, so let's just copy paste that. One thing I like to do is make some slides. You hear that? Just make sure for every note you disable it. You'll notice when it's a slide, when it has this little, that little slide thing right there. That sounds pretty good, and that's because we have the cut itself turned on. So just fix. And if you make these slides longer, it's gonna make that. It's gonna make the slide longer, a little bit more elongated. So let's preview that with this. That's pretty good. All right, let me check one more time how much we have for time. That's almost half an hour. All right, well, we're almost done here. Now that you have a pretty basic understanding of how it works for jungle, what about for breakcore? Yeah, it's, you just turn up the BPM. Usually I don't like going anywhere past 220, because if you do that, you're going to start sounding really weird. Go anywhere past that, well, for me honestly, it starts getting sounding weird. 260 and over is like mashcore, and then over 300 is basically speedcore. But I don't know if you noticed, here in FL, when you change the BPM, it's always going to ask you, do you want to restretch the channels? For this case, yes. Only thing is, now it's going to play at the original pitch. So let's go back to 170, then turn it back up to 200. This time we click no. And if you did it right, press play, and you'll hear that the amens are a little bit more pitched up. Okay, but I'm probably making an ass of myself right here, just speeding up jungle and calling it breakcore, because technically that's not it. Alright, so some time has passed, and it's the following day. I tried recording a small breakcore segment, but I just couldn't. I had a brain fart. So I was like, know what? I'll just do it again tomorrow. So, off camera, I did this quick little sequence, and as you can see, now I kind of cheated, I guess. OTT is a multi-band compression VST that you use to compress the signal. It could sound a bit more meatier, fatter, but I also use the multi-band compression as well. So it's basically like double compression. So it depends on the settings that you use, really. And for distortion, I ditched out pretty fast distortion in lieu of Camel Crusher. Camel Crusher is basically another distortion VST, and apparently this used to be on Logic Pro a few years back, and now it became like not open source. No, what's the word I'm looking for? It's it was basically made free, and Apple acquired Camel Audio apparently. So if you click on it, it'll redirect you to Apple's website. But anyway, enough of that. Here is an 808 melody that I made up. It's a little bit different from the one that was made yesterday, but it's similar to it. So you can see, so dun, 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 dun. So it's really fast. It's really hectic. So, and as you can see, the slides, as I mentioned from yesterday. And the second part is really fun. These are hoovers that I use. So, along with this hoover progression, it should sound a bit more ravey. So, let me just lay down the hoovers right here. And a quick look at the aim and break patterns that I used. So, the crash, and then some of the shuffle the hats, crash with the hats, and then snare, crash, snare. So, and then right here, more kicks, more of the hat shuffles, crash, snare. So you can see it's pretty hectic, I guess. And it gets a little bit crazier here with like smaller, intricate cuts. And right here was more like a gating thing, like that kind of stuff. You'll hear it right now. But anyway, enough of me talking. Oh, sorry. There we go. Alright, well, sorry for the background noise, but yeah. So this was pretty much done in roughly half an hour. Yeah, so if you want to get more intricate with it, go ahead. But I like to keep things simple in terms of breakcore terms, you know. I'm not one usually for snare rolls, pitch roll-ups, but I could show you real quick. So, quiet. Okay, so what we're going to do here, let's mute these. Get this same aim in. Click right here. Make unique. So, as you can see right here, this is another version of it. Yeah, it sounds a little bit different. Yeah, because now what we're going to be doing is saying to stretch. Then we're going to be messing with this pitch thing right here. So, okay, so what we're going to do, say, let's get a snare going, so right here. No. Nope. Whoop. There we go. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, just close in on it. Sorry about that. Close in on that. There you go. Slice it off. Now you can forget about all of this for right now. What we're going to do here is, well, something simple right here. So let's get this part. And then remember, this is our second amen variation. So what we're going to do, move this. Then just keep it down here. Cut it like that. Copy paste. Make sure they line up. There you go. Okay, so since these are technically quarter notes, for this last bit, let's make them into eighth notes. So let's grab this here, chop, time-based, eighth beats. You can see that right there. Cut this tail on part and do it again. Just make sure they line up. Sorry for my little birds. They sometimes like to get a little rambunctious. Copy paste that. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, shoot. Yeah, that's a problem. Sometimes you get so invested to it, you don't see they overlap. Copy and paste again. And if you did it right, it should sound a little like this. Okay, that's what's known as snare rolls. Now, what some breakcore artists do is they pitch them up or they pitch them down. It's rare that you hear them pitch down because usually they sound all muddy when you pitch them down. So remember, on our pitch parameters, we set it to 18. That way we could, yeah, so we could play around with that. But let's keep it simple. Right click, create automation clip. You're going to see this. Then with this, move it up, down. You could change, I guess, the aggressiveness, the knee of it. So, yeah, there you go. Or if you want it to be a little bit slower. Slow at first and then quick, boom. You can do that. You can also do this. Do that. Oh, shoot. Do that. That's going to sound crazy. But as you can see, it messes with your CPU. So, because FL detected we have two versions of the same break to ask which one they want to use. So I put with number 2. If you don't want to get confused, just rename it. Let me see. Rename. So, what to do is put like a little special symbol, $1, put a space on it. There you go. If you want, you can change the color too. That way you're able to tell which is which. There you go. So again. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Alright, so that was pitching up, pitching down, and aim and break. And usually, these pitch bends are usually used in breakcore. It is used in jungle, but it depends from producer to producer. I honestly haven't experimented with these pitch roll-ups, but you know, to each their own. To each their own, you know. Just make this at 50%. It's a little bit tedious. There you go. And then if you want to play it again, it should be played at the normal pitch of the original sample. Yeah, something like that. So let's just go over what we did right now. So what's really important is an aim and break pattern. Yeah, the 808 bass is how do you say? It's secondary. So once you fiddle around with the piano roll, you'll be able to find out what sounds good, what sounds not. But if you want to take an example of mine, how I do it. Same thing for the hoovers, the rave stabs. These gray ones are actually another sample in the same pattern. So this is the cutoff one. This is the full one. And what I did here is go into the AHDSR settings, which is like volume, and when I press it, it should start immediately playing, but then after an amount of time, it cuts off. I don't like having tails in my samples, unless if I want to make it like a pad or something. But other than that, just an abrupt cutoff. Hold is fine. Des is for how do you say, for decay. You got that. Attack, how you want it to come in. Delay, basically how late you want it to start it. I want it to be immediate. And for sustain, combined with decay, pretty much it gives that tail effect. No, release, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't like any of that. So I just want to be quick and punchy. So there's that for the in case you forgot, let's play it again one more time. So just add these 808s right here. Before we start, let's check for time. Alright, 15 minutes. And if you did everything correctly, it should sound like this. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you liked it, give me a thumbs up, and if you want me to make another one, I'll probably do it. Alright, thank you.